Hey College and Career Success, welcome to your very last assignment video. So as a quick reminder, in the previous assignment video, I reminded you all that week 3 will be reopening just this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week 8, and that our week 8 closes on a Friday. So please make sure everything is done by Friday. I had already gone over everything in your chapter 11 assignment video. Make sure you check that one out up here. That one is all loaded in there. And as a reminder, sorry, I know I'm like scrolling a little bit all over right here. As a reminder, you do have 2 discussion posts that you need to post both original responses by Wednesday for your weekly attendance and respond to 2 classmates by Friday. And then you have your chapter 11 assignment, chapter 11 quiz, chapter 12 assignment, chapter 12 quiz. So this video will focus just on your chapter 12 pieces. All right, so chapter 12, here's your discussion prompt. It says, what are the trends in your career? What jobs will be available and how much will they pay? What skills are most needed in the job market now? So this may kind of bring back to some of the stuff we've talked about in the semester previously, but I'm going to remind you where you can find some of this information. You can go to ONET Online. This has a lot of information. So let's say physical therapy assistant, that's the one I tend to use the most. I'm going to click there and it has a lot, 5 of 21, and you can kind of expand it and bring it back in. A lot of information here. So that is a good place to go. The BLS.gov is another one that I think is a little bit more user-friendly than the ONET Online. But you have this one, and we'll physical therapy assistants. Here you have information, kind of it goes through employment and the industry. Let me click on this one too. This one might be a little, there we go. This one's even easier to look at. What they do, where they're going to work, their pay, how to become one, job outlook, all of that is right here across those tabs. And then of course, career coach, which we also talked about this semester. You can also come in here and search for the career that you want to look into. And that is going to have, again, as soon as it loads, there we go. That is going to have your salary and your employment and the types of tasks and education and the skills, all of that's going to be there. So you have a couple different places you can look for that information, but that's your prompt. So just one final reminder, 150 words or more. And oops, I'm looking at the chapter 11 one. There we go. Sorry about that. Chapter 12, 150 words or more, talking about the trends in your career. So make sure that you submit that by Wednesday along with your chapter 11 and then respond to 2 classmates by Friday so that you can make sure everything is wrapped up. All right, let's go ahead and start looking at your other assignments for this week. Your chapter 12 assignment is called What I Love to Do. So this is going to open up into a PDF file, and this is 15 things. So this is always where I can see who's watching my videos and who might not. You don't have to do all 15. I'm going to give you full credit if you do 10. I'll give you extra credit if you do all 15. Okay, so you have, it says, what are some things that you like to do? And they give the example of take naps, and maybe someone could be a professional mattress tester. I know it sounds silly. And then how can that benefit others? But you're going to come up with these things, what you like to do. Maybe you like to drive. So a way you can make a living is maybe Uber. How does that help people? You know, gets them from where they want to go to home, or back and forth, whatever the case is. Maybe you like to read books. You could be a book critic, and that could help people choose their books. I've had all kinds of things on here. So this is kind of like, you can think of it as like gig type stuff, or it can be just hobbies. Some people talk about how they like to read comic books and they can make a living doing, making their own comics or reviewing comics, and then how that can help others. So when you're done, make sure you save it with your changes and then put it in the Dropbox. So again, 10 for full credit, and then you'll get extra credit for additional info. It says, what surprises you the most and what excites you the most? You can type that in the comment area so that you get that, because you can't type right here. So in the comment area, when you go to submit this, what surprises you the most and what excites you the most? All right, that's your chapter 12 assignment. The last thing then is your chapter 12 quiz, which opens up right down here. All right, Here are the questions. How can you use your college experience to gain knowledge, skills, and abilities that will assist you in gaining employment? So like what kinds of things are you going to use to move you into employment after graduation? Question 2, what campus resources and activities could you access to support your career exploration? What are 2 resources or activities and how they could be beneficial? I'll direct you one last time to go to the homepage and then info for current students. And here is where we have just a boatload of resources from career services to different kinds of student clubs and organizations to help desk services, things like that. So you can kind of look and see, are any of these something that could be helpful to you as you plan on moving forward and kind of maybe even like building up your resume in that way. All right, question 3, you've been invited to a networking event with Alumni Association. And if you want to maximize and get the most out of it, what would you do to prepare? So what kinds of things would you do before or at the event itself to make sure that you're maximizing that time? Question 4, considering these kind of soft skills, because these are transferable skills, things that you would need no matter what field you're going into. Critical thinking, teamwork, professionalism, communication. There's way more than that, but those are some examples. Which one of those are a strength and how did you develop it into a strength? Which one of those are a weakness and how's that impacted you and what can you do to improve upon that particular area? Again, because it doesn't matter if you're going into a science field, an arts field, education, help, it doesn't matter. These are all skills that you need to be strong in that field. And then finally, what is your opinion of the value of volunteering while in college, and support that with evidence from the textbook and personal experience. When you're done with that, make sure you save and submit. All right, so again, just real quickly, make sure for this week that you are completing all your Chapter 11 and Chapter 12 assignments. You're posting your original response for attendance purposes by Wednesday. Everything else is due on Friday because the course is closing on Friday. Take advantage of week 3 being reopened for a few days. And I just want to thank you all for a great summer semester. This was a great class. You guys stayed on top of everything. I really appreciate the involvement, the participation, the following through with directions. It was a really nice summer semester with you all. So I appreciate that. And I hope that you gained some good experiences, that you learned some things from the course, and you're more comfortable with Brightspace since this will be the primary, well, I won't say primary, it is the primary learning management system in the fall. So you guys kind of have a heads up on using it because you started in the summer. If you ever need anything, feel free to reach out, email me. I am here online, I'm on campus. I hope you have a great rest of the summer and I'll hopefully maybe see you around campus sometime.